Fred, what do you think? The weather's not so good. It isn't so warm yet. Good morning. Fred and I are just going over triathlons. It says dreaming the season. And I know all of us, including me, are looking forward to being able to get back outside and really get back to the things that we enjoy, like getting out and doing some cycling, doing some training. If you have that opportunity and you're still staying within your 6-foot spacing, do try and get outside just a little bit, because I'm going to be doing that more and more. Okay, so this morning what we're going to be working on is we've got to go back and cover some things in what I'm going to refer to as Toolbox 1. Toolbox 1 is going over the things that we covered before we got into our unit on chemical reactions. So it covers things on valence and charge, atomic weight, how we converted mass to moles, balanced molecular formulas, transition metal names, and covalent molecules. And so what we want to be able to do with this, and I've titled this a toolbox because if you would like to get a piece of paper or maybe even go into Seesaw and create a little toolbox for yourself so that you can remember all of these great things. We're going to go over all 5 of these, and I'm going to show you where they are located in a new and improved Canvas web page for us. So here we go. So I don't use Canvas very much, as you guys all know, but now that things have changed up a little bit, this is our new chemistry homepage in Canvas. So on the left side, it has my name and a little chemistry symbol. In the top, in pink and blue, are types of chemical bonds, and that's what we're going to be working on today. All of those things about valence and names to make sure that that's all solid in your mind. The big blue area on the upper right, chemical reactions. Those are the things that we got just barely started with, and by next week we're going to be back into chemical reactions. Little on the bottom there, center, is thermochemistry. I fully expect that we will get to thermochemistry. So I'll get to do some demonstrations for you, maybe have some fire and explosions. Not quite sure how that's going to work with all our stay-at-home guidelines, but I'm going to make it work just for you. Down on the lower right, keep in mind, if you didn't have a Seesaw code, this is where you'll find it. So if you go over to Seesaw, and then you can find the codes for each period. And if you're interested in seeing our new chemistry classroom and a little bit of what I'm able to see, there's a little video here as well. But for right now, we're going to go over here and we're going to begin to talk about the different things that we were starting to work on. Valence and charge, balanced formulas, names of transition metals, polyatomic ions, and all of those things that we worked on before the semester broke. So I'm going to change over my screen just a little bit here and get back into, there we go. Hooking up, there it is, over to here. All right. So the first thing we want to talk about is valence and charge. So as we get going on that, remember this is way back old stuff, and we look at the periodic table, and remember that we just count the columns. So the first column has 1 valence electron, second column 2, and we just keep counting all the way across, all the way to 8. And that is valence. 1 through 8 start at the left, okay, the number of valence electrons. The second thing we wanted to go back through is charge. And remember, this is probably one of the most important things that we're going to need to know. So as you go through this, be sure that charge is on your list of things to know. So we're going to start at that right side, +1 and +2 in those first two columns, +3 and +4 for the carbon family. And then we start at the right side, and it goes 0, -1, negative. That was a terrible -1. We'll get rid of that and do that one again. -1, -2, and -3. So remember, as we go and we look down at various elements that are down the list, all that we're going to do, for example, if we want selenium, is we're going to look up that column to the oxygen, and we know that that's -2. If we're over here at potassium, we'll look up to that key row again and know that that's +1. So also keep in mind that we do not do charges for this group in here, the transition metals. So those are valence and charge. The next thing that I wanted to go over is balanced formulas and the names of ionic molecules. So we'll get ourselves a clean page here. And I'm going to start with 2 elements. And the 2 elements this time are going to be calcium, Ca, and nitrogen, the letter N. So we first have to decide which one is going to come first in the name. Remember that it is the metal, the positive one, the cation, and the one that's furthest to the left in the periodic table. That happens to be calcium. When we look up calcium on the periodic table, it's right here. It has a +2 charge. Nitrogen over here has a -3 charge. So we'll go back over to our work page. Calcium +2, nitrogen -3. So remember that all we're going to do is cross over those numbers. We're not going to cross over the signs or the letters, so the calcium stays on the left. With the 3, now it's at the bottom. The nitrogen with the 2 at the bottom, and that can't be reduced. There's no 1s to get rid of. So it is just Ca, 3, and 2. For a name, remember this is ionic bonding. So we're going to take the first one and we're just going to name it with its element name. And that element name is calcium. We're not going to change that name. Remember, the cation never changes its name. And then the second one, remember that we're going to have this one with its element name, except that it is going to end in IDE. So this one we're going to start with nitrogen. And then remember, we're going to get rid of a few of the letters, back this off, and it becomes T-R-I-D-E, nitride. And so the name is calcium nitride. So that's balanced formulas and names for ionic molecules.